Peace, family. It's your brother Chase back at you again with another reactionary video. And check it out, man. Today we're going to be reacting to Miss Amanda Seales. Now, Amanda Seales is somebody who's always letting her voice be heard. She's always saying things sometimes that people agree with, sometimes people disagree with. This is one of the cases I strongly disagree with her. Not really an Amanda Seales fan, in order to, give some clarity and fairness to the situation. And we're going to be addressing something she said about Black Americans, okay, in one of these quick videos. But before we do that, family, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell icon, and also want to let you know, family, today is the day my 20th book is releasing on Amazon right now, called When Black Americans Stop Singing and Start Swinging, highlighting our beautiful foundational Black American resistance movements in America. This is volume 1, dealing with from 1526 to 1865. So y'all make sure y'all check that out, okay? Make sure you check that out. It's going to be down in the bio below. Make sure you click that, go get that, and also leave a review for the family to help spread the word. And we'll talk more about that at the end of the video. But with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into it.
I just find it preposterous for Black Americans to really be on some, like, we don't F with immigrants.
Okay, hold on. Let's pause there. She finds it preposterous. Amanda, let's be clear. Let's have an honest and fair conversation. You find it that because you're half Caribbean, okay? Your mother is from Grenada, which is very significant because you were raised by a single mother who was from Grenada. You weren't raised on your FBA side. You weren't raised or really around your FBA father, according to you. Okay, you said he wasn't there like that. All right. So you were raised in a Caribbean household by your Caribbean mother. Okay, that's why you find it preposterous. You didn't really grow up within FBA culture. And that's another thing. You have some people who are half FBA by blood, but they were raised in other cultures. You have some people who were full FBA by blood, but they were raised within other cultures. Something might have happened with their FBA family. They were raised and adopted by white people or other groups of people, and they were raised in that culture. You dig? And then they come off, they can't understand why foundational Black Americans are saying certain things, even though they're foundational Black American by blood. You weren't raised within the culture, ma'am. You were an outsider looking into the culture. And I believe, in my personal opinion, because you weren't raised around your FBA side, your FBA father wasn't there, because you've got little tweets in the past where you kind of, throw little shots at him. I believe you have a bug up your ass about your foundational Black American side. Okay, and that's what happens a lot of times when these folks are raised within the other parts of their culture, within Caribbean culture. We know that amongst Caribbeans, there's a strong anti-Black American sentiment, whether they want to admit it or not. So I'm sure you were raised around your Caribbean family, and I'm sure you heard some of that. See, that's why every now and then when you get mad at foundational Black Americans, you go on your little anti-FBA rants like this.
Hey, stop fucking saying that I'm a non-foundational Black person. Y'all keep trying to come up with ways to undermine the validity of my voice, and I'm really tired of it. I was born in America. My mother is from Grenada. My father is from Boston. I am the descendant of chattel slavery in the West Indies in America. I don't need to keep explaining this, but I'm gonna do it this one last time because I'm really fucking tired of it. I'm also a fucking genius. So there's a couple different reasons here why I should be listened to. 1, because I'm smart like a motherfucker. 2, because I am the descendant of ancestors who have been through the traumas that we are trying to undo right now. And 3, because I'm an authentic motherfucker and I speak from the heart every goddamn time. Now, anybody who's got something to say to me about otherwise can go suck a bag of dicks.
Oh, Lord.
Because your view has no merit, because it is not grounded in anything foundational, Black or otherwise.
Okay. And that's Amanda Seales. And I want you to notice the caption. I put the caption in there, okay? This shows you that she didn't grow up in no damn FBA culture. She wasn't raised in the FBA household. She's doing all that jive turkey talk. You motherfuckers, I'm a genius. You better listen to me, motherfucker, you dumb motherfucker. We don't really talk like that, family. We don't talk like that, especially when we're having constructive conversations. We're not doing all that jive turkey talk. You dig? But look what she put in the comment as her caption. about last night, and this is back in 2020. This is during the election, and a lot of these tethers, they kind of crash out during the election. You dig? Especially when they can't control foundational Black Americans and what we do and what we say and the tangibles we ask for. So a lot of folks like Amanda Seal, they're crashing out because they look at her as somebody who she can kind of play both sides. Well, she's half FBA, but she's also half Caribbean. So she can speak to both sides. She can kind of control the FBA because she is half FBA. And that's how they kind of sell themselves. I understand both sides, and you don't. You don't understand both sides because you were raised in a Caribbean household around your Caribbean side. But in the comment section, she put about last night. I don't want to hear no more shit about reparations, Black agenda, Kamala as a AG, because this is when Kamala Harris was running as Attorney General. Okay, so she said she basically don't want to hear no more critique about that. Okay, a lot of people point out how she was targeting foundational Black Americans and Black people in general for petty offenses. She said, I don't want to hear no more about that 94 crime bill, which hundreds of thousands of our people were locked up behind Jim Crow Joe. You dig? We got to get focused on the now. Get the F out of here. All right, that's what she said. See, you weren't raised around no FBA. See, no FBAs ain't gonna sit up there and say, hey man, F reparations, F a Black agenda. All right, that's that Caribbean side, ma'am. All right, that's that disdain that you have deep down for foundational Black Americans when we're not doing what you want us to do. They start talking down to us. But let's continue.
And I know that there's some who are like, well, they don't F with us, so blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I just need you to know that it's bigger than that.
Oh, Lord. Here we go with this, and let's break this down. This whole thing, and I used to fall for that, this whole reverse Uno card family. I used to fall for that myself. Whenever they point out, because none of them can deny the anti-Black American or anti-foundational Black American sentiment that runs rampant within these immigrant communities. None of them can deny that. What they do is tell us to ignore it. Hey, man, we got to get focused. This thing where they've been taking shots at us for decades. You Black Americans are lazy. You Black Americans have no culture. You Black Americans don't know where you're from. You Black Americans are stupid. X, Y, and Z, you Black Americans were just cotton pickers. You were just slaves. We've been ignoring it for decades. And then when we finally come out and say, hold on, man, enough is enough. Enough is enough. I'm going to check this nonsense. When we try to check it, hey, Black Americans, you're pushing white supremacy. This is what the white man want. They want us to argue. We can't even react to anything or else it's a diaspora war. No, we're done with that. We're not going to continue to play this game where you throw shots at us and we can't say anything back. Where you don't rock with us, you go out your way to undermine us. And then when we say, okay, well, fight your own battles. Do your own thing. You dig? I'm not really rocking with no immigrant agendas. Don't come to me about no set aside programs for immigrants. Don't come at me when the ice is on your ass. No. We're not going to do all that. We're going to focus on foundational Black Americans and our needs and our values, our Black agenda, our reparations. Then it's, oh no, we got to get focused on the real thing. No, and the real thing for them is what they need. The real thing is getting them over here, fighting for them. That's what they want us focused on. They want us to use our unification, our codification to get them tangibles instead of ourselves. Ignoring the disrespect that comes from the diaspora family does not lead to progress. It leads to more disrespect. So we're not ignoring it anymore. We're treating these tethers like they're cancers because they are. These folks who run this anti-Black American sentiment, these folks who wouldn't piss on us if we were on fire, they are a cancer to the foundational Black American community. And you don't ignore a cancer, family. You address it. You immediately go to chemo. You immediately go to the doctor and get checkups and you get solutions. How do I get this cancer? How do I get rid of this cancer? How do I get these cancerous cells out of my body? You don't just ignore it and say, hey, man, I got bigger things to focus on. I got bills to pay. Because while you're focusing on your bills, you end up dead. Okay? You end up having an ethno-genocide like we're about to experience. We're not going to deal with that. Okay? We're renegotiating contracts and the free rides up. It's time for Black immigrants and other immigrants in general to hold their own nuts. You're so great. You're so powerful. You got so much motion going. Okay, hold your own nuts and do your own thing. The free ride is up. Let's continue.
Like much bigger than that. And they is a strong word.
No, it's not.
It's like, yes, there are shitty people.
And let's be clear, they is not a strong word. Tether culture runs rampant, okay, within the diaspora. And we know this because we see it in your homeland. Okay, remember these folks, these immigrants who come over here, they're fruits of their homeland. Okay, they are not separate from their homeland. They bring their culture over here. And Black immigrants in general come over here with hatred and disdain for Black Americans because they have hatred and disdain for the other Black people in their country. The tribalism runs rampant over there. They can't get nothing built in their homeland because of the corruption, different things of that nature, the crab in the bucket mentality. They don't want to link up to build. They just want something for their damn tribe. You dig? They just want a few trinkets. They don't want to revolutionize and have an independent country. They want their opportunity to hold the whip and to be in charge. And they bring that same mentality over here. Don't let them try to separate themselves. A lot of them play this whole Marcus Garvey game when they come over here. They come over here and act like, oh, they came over here as the second coming of Garvey. Oh, I came over here on some Pan-Africanism and Black Americans were just so divisive towards me. Stop the cap. Stop the cap. You came over here to get a piece of the pie and you didn't care who you had to step on, who you had to undermine to get it. Just like in your homeland. And she's experienced that. Remember, people were just praising Amanda Seals, what was that, a couple months ago for checking this Angola dude. Let's check that out.
An immigrant. It is imperative that Black people from other places understand the disparate difference that they exist from Black people in the United States. It is not the same. Period. And ultimately, the best effort that we can do as a diaspora is to lead in understanding, not in judgment. So when I am talking to somebody from Sudan, from the Congo, from Angola, I am listening to understand their experience, not to undermine it. And I refuse to allow anybody from Grenada, from Angola, from any other place to come and try to undermine the experience of Black Americans.
The irony, ain't it? Listen to understand, not to undermine. Okay, but when Black Americans tell you, hey man, we're not on that immigrant shit no more. Here you come. Oh, that's preposterous. Oh, that's ridiculous to even say. Boy, the irony. And that's why I tell y'all, don't fall for little videos like this, because a lot of people running around talking about, oh, Amanda got on them. Amanda got on. No. She's using this for clout. Okay, they'll sit up there and they'll take a grassroots talking point in order to push their left agenda. Let's continue.
So, like, this country has never operated without immigrants. Never at any point has this country operated without immigrants, including the white people who came here, because they are immigrants. Even worse, they're settlers.
Oh, Lord. Ma'am. And that's the end, family. We're not going to remix history. The operation has always been Code FBA, Code Foundational Black Americans. See, we are the operation that made this country stick. We've been the moral, economic, and innovative glue of America, family. I want you to understand that. I want you to understand that even with the white immigrants. These white folks who came over here, they didn't establish shit. They couldn't establish shit. Okay, let's be clear. When you look at the early colonies of America, okay, the St. Augustine down in Florida, they considered that the oldest, longest running town. It was felling on and off. People would try to build something there, then it would fail. People would try to establish something that will fail again. It wasn't until they started enslaving us, foundational Black Americans, where they got a foothold. You look at the early colonies, the Roanoke colony, okay? That's another one, that Virginia, North Carolina area, all right? The first English child was born in the Roanoke colony. They named her Virginia there. That's where Virginia gets its name from. They don't even know what happened to that poor child. They're considered to this day the lost colony. They were there like a year, 2 years, and then they just disappeared. Hell, they probably ate each other. They failed. All right, the Luna colony in Florida failed. San Miguel de Guape down here in the Georgia, South Carolina area, they lasted 100 days before the foundational Black Americans rose up and burned down that camp and then went to go live with our indigenous cousins that were already over here. Even Jamestown, where they try to start our history, and they always start with 1619. Remember, before 1619, you had something called the Jamestown starving times, all right, where a lot of them went from 500 in numbers down to 50. They couldn't survive. They couldn't eat. They couldn't grow anything. They didn't know how to hunt. They didn't know how to fish. They didn't know how to feed themselves. They have evidence of them eating each other. That's how desperate they got. These are these white colonists. So, Chase, why are you saying all this? I'm saying all this to show you they were failing when they tried to do it on their own. And common sense will tell you that. This whole thing of immigrants coming over here, operating and running America is cap. You couldn't even run your homeland, ma'am. They kill me with this mentality. They're operating, they're running the most powerful and wealthy country that ever lived, and their homeland is broke and can't even get stable electricity or running water. How is that? How are you this great operator when you go across the seas and you couldn't operate your homeland? Y'all sitting over there starving, having potato famines over there in Europe. And you had a long history of that. Going even back to the Moors over there in Europe. Y'all didn't even know how to bathe. Y'all were dying of disease and plague. Y'all out there living with the farm animals. You dig? It was the Moors who had to come over there and civilize you. Say, hey, introduce you to things called akul, alcohol, clean your wounds. Hey, man, them animals, you can't live in the barn with the pigs. The pigs got to be separate from you. Eating 3-course meals, having knowledge, wisdom, and university. Now, all of a sudden, these immigrants, they come over here, and all of a sudden, they're master builders. They're master operators. Oh, they were just essential to the American dream. Without them, there would be no America. No, without FBA, there would be no America. See, what narcissists like Amanda Seale don't like is foundational Black Americans deep down inside, we're uncheckable. We can't be checked, especially by no immigrant group. We were the first ones to fight and die in the name of the United States. Black man by the name of Crispus Attucks. It was during that war we had another foundational Black American, James Armstead Lafayette, who turned the tides of the American Revolution. First double spy in American history. It was foundational Black Americans who chopped down the trees, cleared the brush, cleared the roads, paved the roads, established the first railroads and railways in this country, laid down the bricks, were the early and first architects, brothers like Benjamin Banneker, who laid out the nation's capital on the Potomac. You dig? It was enslaved foundational Black Americans who built the White House and rebuilt it. It was foundational Black Americans who built the U.S. Monument, who built the U.S. Capitol. Brother by the name of Philip Reeves built the statue on top of the U.S. Capitol. So brother in the South by the name of Horace King, who established some of those early Southern bridges, okay, was a master architect. It was foundational Black Americans who built the early seawalls, cleaned the swamps, and built the levees to help establish cities like Charleston, help establish cities like Savannah, Georgia, a lot of these port cities that were crucial for the import-export, our trade routes in America, so America could build this economic trade engine that it has today in cities like New Orleans as well. It was foundational Black Americans when America had nothing to offer, had no publicly traded companies. What did they do? They said, hold on, we're going to have stocks and bonds. We were considered the first stocks in bondage. That's where the term comes from. We built the wall to call it Wall Street. All the things that America is built on today and known for today, it starts with FBA. We're uncheckable, ma'am. We're uncheckable. You don't understand this because you weren't raised within FBA culture. You weren't raised in an FBA household. You see it from the perspective of an immigrant because that's how you were raised to view things, from your immigrant mother in an immigrant household, growing up in immigrant culture. We were raised to hunker down, to fight, to stand on business, to build by any means necessary. We were taught by our great ancestors like Frederick Douglass when Abraham Lincoln was trying to deport us. And he said, no. He's a colonization preacher. He crazy as hell thinking that we're going to flee a country that we built. Queen Mother Harriet Tubman said, we're rooted here. We're not going anywhere. We're rooted here. We don't flee, we fight, ma'am. You're a coattail rider. You are dependent. And I hate to say, many of you are leechers. You leech and suck the life out of foundational Black American culture and achievement. And we're tired of it. So we're saying, hey, man, I'm done fighting for immigrants. No disrespect to them. We don't hate them. We're just done fighting for them. We're going to do for ourselves because we always had to. It's your brother Chase. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell icon, and last but not least, go get my newest book because we address stuff just like this. We're addressing and stamping foundational Black American history and culture that was forged in fire, that was forged in resistance. Go get When Black Americans Stopped Singing and Started Swinging, highlighting our resistance movements in America, our ancestors who fought and died so our people can be free. So they'll know we weren't just singing over here, we were actually swinging from 1526 to present day. We've been standing on business by any means necessary. Foundational Black Americans, you're phenomenal people. I'm out.